Hey everybody, I hope y'all are enjoying um, this first week of 2024. 2024 is coming in rumbling and ready to go. So, first of all, I want to just talk about something that just kind of on my mind. I don't really have a name or a title for this. Um, First thing that happened, first business day of the year, Dr. Claudine Gay, in case you don't know who she is, was the first African American president of Harvard, and she started her tenure July 2023. It took them 6 months, and she made history by being the first black president of Harvard, um, and also being the shortest tenured after she resigned for the attacks that were coming on her. She was getting death threats. They claim it's because of the stance she took about the October 6th attack of Hamas on Israelis. Y'all, I am, somebody who has to live with this daily as a teacher, as an educator, as a historian. And we are living in a time where people do not want to hear the truth and they don't want to deal with it, or they want to hear their truth. And I hate that term because to me, like it's only the truth. That's what it is. Nevertheless, Dr. Claudine Gay, who's been in Harvard for years and resigned, okay. Um, I personally understand for her mental health and just for her holistically, why she walked away from it. But please do not be fooled that she is resigning based on these plagiarism claims that they dug up from 20, 25 years ago from her dissertation. Her dissertation chair, his name was Gary, I want to say Gary King. Anyway, he's another professor who works at Harvard who had her as a student. And he went back over, yeah, it is Gary King. Let's see. Yep. And he was like, "What are y'all talking about? This isn't true. This now his word all of a sudden as a white man in Harvard don't mean nothing now, right? But that's what it means to be black in America. It don't matter if they want to come after you. Please don't be fooled. This is not about plagiarism from 20 some odd years ago about some quote unquote sloppy citations. Like we ain't all turned in some papers and been given some grace when it comes to citations, okay? All right, just not properly cited. Get the fuck out of here. She wrote a whole goddamn dissertation. This is about her sitting in front of members of Congress and being questioned along with two other women who are white. Okay, one was the president of MIT, the other was the president, Claudine Gay is the president of Harvard, the other one was the president of UPenn. The woman with UPenn resigned first after that congressional session because they said that they weren't doing enough on their campuses to protect Jewish students from hate speech. And this propaganda gang, we can go on and on all day. Okay? I'd love to sit here and give you a history lesson of the Israeli stuff. But the bottom line is Palestine was colonized. Okay? So if anybody after World War II, this is not to suggest, and neither have Islamic scholars and certainly not scholars of the history of Palestine suggested that Jewish people did not deserve a safe place to be after Hitler carried out genocidal acts against them and against Africans and gay people who were not Jewish, that they didn't have a safe place to go. However, they said that Westerners, in this case, you can insert Europeans, need to pay for their sins by giving up their land and creating a space that is safe for Jewish people so that they won't be harmed like that again. Y'all came over here and occupied Palestine. This is the short of the long story. Okay? And said, here, we're going to give you this land and y'all can come over here as if people were not already there. America, Britain, they all agreed. Those people are angry because of that. And this has been going on nearly at this point. I mean, hardcore, about 60 years. Extended further back than that, tensions and that kind of thing. This is about that black woman being president of Harvard, them not wanting her there, not coming out immediately and protecting free speech, which has always been murky, for Jewish I shouldn't even say Jewish students, people who are of the belief in the Zionists, who feel like they have the right to occupy these parts of Palestine and claim it as Israeli space. But wasn't up in Congress to talk about how do pro-Palestinian students feel, how do people of Palestinian nationality feel about that. See, they don't care about that. And see, that's what I'm trying to explain to you about propaganda. Go and get books, read all you can, read about the UN solutions. Go look up how South Africa is taking Israel to the United Nations over this. Go look it up for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what to think. What I am here to tell you is this shit don't come out of nowhere. And this is not about plagiarism. This is about that black woman sitting there and not bowing down and acting like the only people whose free speech protection should have come only for Jewish students and people who are aligned with the Zionist state and Israel at this point. People who say they are pro-Palestinian and their right to sovereignty over their land, those are the people getting fired. Those are the people that are losing their jobs. Those are the people that are getting hung out to dry in the education system, and I know that as a teacher. So that already lets you know where you stand when your speech is not protected. But in the words of Fidel Castro, history will absolve me. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And it's been wrong. And every time that men, women, and children have been murdered and bombed, that doesn't make our news. And it doesn't make our news because it's not part of our side and our story in terms of American relations. But as a black person, what the fuck I'm not going to do is act like when people rise up against a system and a group of people, that comes out of fucking nowhere. When they've been I'm not going to do that. Okay, so miss me with the bullshit. And Claudine Gay is in trouble because that's who decided she should not be sitting there. And all her answers were legally packaged. She took their advice. And we can say this person has a PhD. They knew how to think through these things. Those are like Pharisee questions. Okay? Pharisee questions are like, in the Bible, when, and I got that term from Reverend Jeremiah Wright, one time, years ago, when I heard a sermon from him. The kind of questions people put out there in the Bible, the Pharisees toward Jesus, thinking they were going to hang Jesus up, but it had nothing to do with the real issue, and Jesus would always go around it. That part. Okay? The questions they were asking her in Congress, it wasn't set up for her to win. Okay? Now, the woman at MIT has not resigned nor quit. 2, they didn't want to see this black woman succeed. Now, I, as somebody who got my PhD and who's in academia, knows how hard it is for black women, who also know that black people can also desert you in those spaces, who also know that people come to black men's defense, especially other black men, more quickly than they ever will for black women. See, it was making the news but not the outcry. I mean, people like Al Sharpton have offered to have a march for her, so on and so forth. But see, this is the beginning of a lot of bullshit when you don't check bullshit where it's at. You don't have to agree. I mean, hell, the United States had $886 billion to send them before Christmas of 2023 for the war package for Israel. And we over here paying $19 for a pack of bread. Okay, so miss me with the bullshit. All right, not to mention, today some allegations came out because they were all just allegations anyway against Claudine Gay. So since we're reporting allegations, all right, NBC News reported today, and make sure I get this right, so you can go look at it. The title of the article is Neri Oxman, okay, billionaire investor, Bill Ackman's wife, accused of plagiarism in MIT dissertation. Now, what does this have to do with anything? I'll tell you. Billionaire investor Bill Ackman, his wife's been accused of plagiarism, as you heard. Ackman has been a vocal critic of Harvard's recently resigned president, Claudine Gay, over allegations of plagiarism and her handling of anti-Semitism on campus. Okay. This article came out January 5th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. in case you were wondering, and it was updated again January 5th, 2024 at 1:42 p.m. In case you think I'm making this up, you can go back and look for it for yourself. All right. So, a Business Insider article published yesterday, Thursday, alleged Oxman plagiarized parts of her 2010 doctoral dissertation at MIT, citing several passages that the report found lacked appropriate attribution. Attribution, recognizing the source it came from. NBC News hasn't independently reviewed the academic sources cited in the report. That's fine. You want to know why? Because they didn't do that for Claudine Gay either. There's supposed to be a process when you're accused of plagiarism, and it was not. We're just going to harass her via Twitter/X, through death threats, through her emails and everything else. Now, this is coming up because Oxman is an American-Israeli designer. Okay, his wife. American-Israeli designer who was a tenured professor at MIT before leaving the university and moving to New York. I guess you have a billionaire husband. I guess you can do that. The article highlighted issues similar to those found in Claudine Gay's academic work, mainly involving technical passages that were missing quotation marks for proper citations. While Ackman didn't back down from his scrutiny of Gay, going so far as to say she should not remain as a faculty member due to her serious plagiarism issues, he defended his wife, however, Thursday in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying part of what makes her human is that she makes mistakes. Ain't that about a bitch? This is attack on black people, this is attack on smart people, this is attack on anybody who thinks. Okay? Because anybody who goes against the fucking grain and says something unpopular, and I don't believe in cancel culture, and when I say I don't believe in it, it's not because I don't believe certain people should be canceled. That's not what I mean. I think cancel culture is fake. When you say cancel culture, these people end up becoming bigger than they were before. And then it gets used the same way critical race theory has been thrown around and is wrong, and these white people don't know what they're talking about. And now it's in your backyard. But you know what the difference is? This white woman's going to get to go on with her rich life. The woman who resigned from as the president of UPenn, her people are going to take care of her. I don't know what's up for Claudine Gay. Now, I know she has, a Harvard background, and they still let her keep her job as a professor. But the bottom line is this is humiliating, debilitating, and prayers up for her. Prayers up for her. Because, regardless of what kind of black people they are in the closet, and what I mean by that is black people who don't always come out for other black people and support them on the job. And we've seen it. If you're a black woman, you know how other black women can attack you, older and younger. And it has happened to me one too many times. And that's why I'm not going to sit quiet on this. It doesn't matter, because when these kind of things happen, they are happening because you're black. They are happening because of the skin you're in. That's why it's happening to her. And I'm just going to leave that there. But speaking of plagiarism or accusations of plagiarism and stealing ideas, Katt Williams. No, I did not waste nearly 3 hours of my life trying to watch all the details of that long-ass interview. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay? I'm doing this video because I'm taking a break from grading papers. We go back on Monday. Nevertheless, no, I don't think Katt Williams is lying about most of that shit. I don't. I do not. I don't think Steve Harvey is that funny. I think Steve Harvey had a cute show in the 90s, early 2000s. I think occasionally Steve Harvey can tell a good joke. But that doesn't, to me, yes, I understand that being famous, you can be famous for different reasons. You can get famous for different reasons. And you can also have a long-lasting career in Hollywood for different reasons. And when Steve Harvey rebooted his career with the whole Think Like a Man, advice shit, let's be real, he was washed up anyway. But one thing my father always said, even when we were watching Steve Harvey as kids, he could have kept this to himself, but nevertheless, it makes more sense now that I'm an adult. And my father just didn't like Steve Harvey. He didn't like him. And he was like, no, I just think he has a career because somebody told him that he could make a living off the fact that he looked like Richard Pryor. Now, you don't even have to go along with that. But Steve Harvey is full of shit. And let me tell you something. Great comics aren't scared to be booed. They aren't scared to go against the grain. That's what makes them funny. Right? To me, that's what makes them funny. But the thing about comedy is that there are different comics for different people, right? Everything's not funny to everybody, and that's fine, right? Some people are going to be offended by some things, and that's going to happen. All right, it's a genre of entertainment. Okay, when he said the Cedric the Entertainer stole his joke, I was like, that classic joke. I remember that from when they showed the receipts. I said, I'm gonna wait of Katt Williams doing that joke on Comic View. Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer stole that joke. Not cool, man. Not cool in the craft. Mm-mm. Now, do I think Cedric the Entertainer is funny? Yes. I don't think he necessarily is somebody who is famous because of that one Katt Williams joke. But the bottom line is you stole it. And the thing is, to stand up in front of people for an hour and do a whole comedy shtick and make people laugh is not easy. I think people who are great at it make it look easy because they're good at it, like anything. But he wasn't lying. Steve Harvey is not funny. And Steve Harvey did steal Mark Cooper's joke. And when he started comparing Hanging with Mr. Cooper, I said, you basically had Cedric the Entertainer's job as the black basketball coach. You had Steve Harvey working at the high school, the guy that the kids looked up to, the music teacher, and that fake band group. But Hanging with Mr. Cooper, he kind of played multiple roles as a teacher and a coach on his show. He had that kind of back and forth romance with, I want to say her name was Vanessa on the show, Holly Robinson Pete's character. And I was like, it is so fucked up. And anybody who's had things stolen from you, when it comes from your original thought, your fucking hard work, and then you see that person who stole it get ahead of you in your career and you know what you did, you be angry too. And that's why I wasn't into it when people were attacking Monique. I wasn't. People were like, oh, it's the way she did it. What? Why is it the way a black woman gets angry and defends herself? No, y'all just don't want to hear it. You don't. Now, yes, are there decisions that she didn't have to make? Like her going back and forth with D.L. Hewley, was that worth it? No. But so what? They all do that. And quite frankly, Taraji P. Henson bringing it up, about how low paid African American women are, that takes a level of bravery. But let's be real. Had Monique probably not come out and taken the hits first, Taraji will probably be taking more hits now. Now, we also see Taraji in a lot of movies. So maybe it's that people think, well, yeah, she really deserves it. As opposed to why Monique didn't. I don't get it. I believe them both. But you can't say that to me and then explain to me why somebody like Jennifer Garner is famous. Jennifer Garner, all I know her from is 13 Going on 30, which was on a DVD. And maybe that little kid movie Yesterday. And her teeth are funny. She's ugly. And don't think I forgot that 2017 attack she put on Regina King, when she was like, when Regina King was talking about being from LA, and she was like, well, do you know where your ancestors from? Bitch, do you know where yours are from? And if you do, you know where they're from, because everybody else had clear records and we were brought over here as property. Don't fucking pull it. I don't understand why that bitch is famous. If Adele was a heavy-set black woman with that kind of voice, she wouldn't be as famous as she is. Shout out to Lettucey. Shout out to Jasmine Sullivan. So miss me with the bullshit. So Katt Williams ain't lying about that. And yes, now I don't believe in the Illuminati. I think all y'all just a little crazy with that. But his shit did add up when he got to counting in Fast and Furious movies with Ludacris. His shit was adding up. When he talked about Tyler Perry and Ricky Smiley, first of all, Katt Williams is a petty asshole. You a petty bitch for putting in your contract, next time you work with Ricky Smiley, he had to be in a dress. And Ricky Smiley, I'm wondering about your dignity and self-respect that you actually did it, because that was in his contract and that was the way you had to appear in the movie. You could have walked away from that money. That's all I'm saying. Because we all know Ricky Smiley from Alabama and live in Texas. Their cost of living a little bit different. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna try to leave it. I'm gonna try to leave the stuff alone that he said about people's wives, because that's a stray. I think he's absolutely right about Faison Love, who has come out and said horrible things about women, black women, who has been known or accused of domestic violence on multiple occasions. He deserved it. He deserved to be go in on. Um, who else did he go? He just kept going, and I was just like, "Yup, yup." No, I don't think Michael Jackson molested them kids, though. I don't, and I stand on that. Mm-mm. The average child molester, before they're caught, commits 230 cases before they're even caught, on average, a pedophile. Michael Jackson didn't line up that way. Larry King, the legendary Larry King, as a journalist, for him to say, I overheard men at the next booth at a restaurant saying, no, we're just doing this for money. Larry King would have put his entire journalistic integrity into the garbage disposal by even saying something like that. And he said they rejected it because it was hearsay when he tried to submit it to the court. So just because something is proven in court, catch. It's also because of what evidence they allow. And then he talked about Jonathan Majors. And I was like, I know I can't be the only fucking one that thinks this. Because y'all know I told y'all, I'm disappointed in Jonathan Majors. The way abuse works, so on and so forth. And I just did not understand people trying to tell us that he was sexy and cute. I was like, I'm not attracted to him at all. And remember, I told y'all, I said, and that's why I think he's a great actor. Because I will watch what he's in because of his talent. But it's only because of his talent. His face been a struggle. And then white women was just eating it up. And some black women too. But I do think he has a good case for an appeal, though. I really do. Because you can't find him half guilty of some kind of assault. And under New York law, you have the right to take your property back by force if somebody takes it. Now, do I believe that some of that was extra, especially looking at that footage when they came to check on her and she was just all kind of out like this? It was given extra. But I don't believe he's completely innocent in terms of his behavior either. But the point is, in court, a jury doesn't have the right to rule on, okay, this was a toxic relationship, and therefore this was the culmination of it. And even though we don't see it, we know he hit her and abused her, because toxic relationships usually lead to abuse. You can't do that. You can't do that. But Katt Williams, you're right. Yeah, he's ugly. Next, and who else did Katt Williams go in on? He went in on a lot of people, and a lot of people fucking deserved it. But he is right. He is right that all of these people that seem to constantly be in our faces, and we know, like people like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's not funny to me. And granted, like I said at the beginning, comedy is a taste, but he's not funny. He overdoes it. It isn't cute. It isn't thinking. It's very much slapstick. And I don't like it. I don't like it. You're like, huh? But he's not even funny like that. Now, my sense of humor is very different. I don't think Michael Blackson is funny. And I don't think Tiffany Haddish is funny. And, you know, I shout out people when they get a break, because I understand what it is to finally get a break. Or I understand what it is to want a big break. And Tiffany Haddish seemed to have gotten hers. I have never seen her in something where I thought she was funny. I thought she was just kind of being extra as much as she can for the camera to get a laugh. And that's not funny to me. I never saw Girls Trip, but everybody says that she was spectacular in that. And I believe that you can be good at a part and then not good at other things. But I think the winner of the statement in that Katt Williams interview was when he got Shannon Sharpe all the way together. And he said, you have an unnatural allegiance to losers. And that's not like you. Like, you keep defending these motherfuckers. And people keep talking about, oh, Shannon Sharpe wasn't ready for the interview because he doesn't really know how to get to court. That's exactly why he should have done it to somebody like Shannon Sharp, a football player who just transitioned, okay, into football commentating, so on and so forth, sports commentating. That's better. Because that's not journalists like the way other people are journalists and trained journalists. The fact that he didn't know what to do with it is exactly why we got the raw material we got from Katt Williams. That's why. Okay? That's why. And people can't stand somebody who tells the truth, stands on it, and says, fuck you. People like people who kowtow and kiss their ass. And if for nothing else, I can totally understand why people don't like Katt Williams. I can totally get it. I understand why people don't like me. But I'm not going to fucking let nobody treat me like no goddamn slave and make me kiss your ass to live. Everybody got to do what they got to do to live to an extent. But what he's talking about is a level of integrity that you just won't let somebody else take from you. And I can respect it. I can absolutely respect it. Speaking of which, y'all hear Jonathan Majors is going to sit down for his first interview since the verdict. Jonathan with ABC News. Jonathan, please don't pull an R. Kelly. Please don't. And I know you went to trial because you're trying to clear your name. No, I don't think Jonathan Majors is going to go to jail, whether he put his hands on that woman or not, because he's a first-time offender. And I think he's trying to clear his name. And I understand, because all you have is your name in this life, and you want it to be upstanding. But I think the extraness, the breaking up of the fight, the being seen with Megan Good at Red Lobster, like, it's giving guilty, let me hurry up and cover it up, or just let me cover it up so much. Please don't. I really hope he's prepped. I understand. Sometimes you just got to take a minute, because he has a very good case for an appeal. And the jury, we don't know who that's going to be, or we just don't want them to be able to use this against you. So that's all I got to say. Just sharing my thoughts. Y'all let me know if there's other stuff y'all want me to review. I'm trying to figure out how to teach apartheid to these fourth graders because I want to do something different. Anyway, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.